Hello? Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Fuck. My apologies. I didn't realize that I was muted that whole time. Sometimes what happens is because I have my mic in an arm, is when I'm adjusting it, it hits the mute button. So it is what it is. Nothing I can do, but I digress. So apologies for that. Okay. So, Project Liberal. I was first introduced to this by Charlemagne. He had me come on his channel to look at this, and it was just so lame, so simplistic, so unfunny that I just kept going. Like, what does this meme even mean? Like, what the fuck even is this? And people in the chat and comments actually thought I was like mentally retarded because I didn't like get most of the stuff they posted. So I'm just gonna warn you now, if I get confused during this, it's not that I'm like dumb, it's just that this is Project Liberal we're dealing with. This is Project Liberal. So I'm gonna be groaning a lot. Rain is not sitting in my lap because I don't think she wants to deal with Project Liberal. I can't really blame her. I wouldn't if I was a cat either. Maybe she'll come over at some point. But okay, so Project Liberal. I am convinced that this is some kind of like, I don't even know what this is. That this is AstroTurf. That somebody somewhere who had too much money and too much time decided it was a good idea to give these assholes money. If this is AstroTurf, this is like this is like the least efficient spending of money possible. We'll go down through. They apparently make like maybe $1,000 a month. Maybe it's $1,000. It could be less a month, but it looks like that there's real money behind this. So I don't know like who came up with this. I don't know who makes their memes, but they're not sending their best. So let's just take a look at Project Liberal. So liberalism brings health free. We are a grassroots movement. Anytime somebody says grassroots movement, you should really look out for it. To me, every time somebody says grassroots movement, it means they're not a grassroots movement. They're astroturfed. Resurrecting true liberalism as a mainstream political ideology. We are driven by a passion for liberal values and a deep-rooted belief in the power of ideas to shape the world for the better. So we have this collection of people. I don't really know what to say about them. This guy has maybe we'll go at his because his is really cringy. What the fuck is that? What is that? I don't know. I've never seen somebody with a smile like that before. Has anybody else like? I'm sorry, I don't mean to focus on it, but it's just a little odd. It's just a little odd. This guy, I don't like. I need a physiognomy check on these eyes. Yeah. Okay, I'm sorry for making fun of people's appearance, but I don't know. That guy kind of scares me. I don't know what's going on there. This guy's This guy, I don't know. This is the Project Liberal. We have Joe Walsh, who looks a lot like Jeffrey Epstein. Let me see here. Jeffrey Epstein. He really does. Here, let me take this picture of Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah, doesn't he kind of look like Jeffrey Epstein? Like, am I crazy? That's not a good sign. That's not a good sign. when you have a former congressman who kind of looks like Jeffrey Epstein. Like, the bones. Oh, this is going to be fun. I've never even heard of the Unpopulist. I don't know who this dude is. The Queer Majority. Yeah, that sounds like it's featured. We have a bunch of stuff. The Tea Party's ugly transformation. Liberals have no political home. It's time to build one. We sit down with Osmond Peterson to discuss what libertarians get wrong about foreign policy and problems with the NAP. Because, of course, they support foreign wars, because that's a core part of liberalism. So, I don't know. Let's see here. Oh, sorry, I forgot that I had that open. So let's see. Act, subscribe, volunteer, membership, Discord. Does anybody else want to go to their Discord? I'll leave that up to you. So let's take a look at Project Liberal. Okay, so liberals. Now, I just want to say once again that these guys, and we'll go through this. So these guys are not classical liberals. They think they're classical liberals. For instance, they don't believe in citizenship. Now, we'll get into that. That is not me, like, exaggerating. That is not me slandering them. They literally do not believe in citizenship. Which is, I'm going to have to see receipts on that one that, like, John Locke and Voltaire and the Founding Fathers, that none of them believed it. Who are some other classical liberal philosophers? I'm going to have to see receipts that none of those people believed in citizenship. Because I really... If anything, wasn't classical liberalism big on civic nationalism? I don't know. I could be wrong. Limited government, free movement, LGBTQ rights, free expression, affordable housing, and free trade. That's what liberals stand for. Okay, so let's see here. Oops. Liberals believe that the Constitution must be defended by rights on both the left and right. Liberals believe that free... Okay, let's go through this. Freedom of speech is for everyone, not only people we agree with. I'd like to know what their opinion is on child porn. Because anytime you get to people who are free speech absolutist... you have to ask them about that. Liberals understand that the church so, like, once again, it's freedom of speech, but it's not freedom of action, because just trying to think of it. The problem is liberal democracy requires, like, a vanguardist police state to function, because most people would not vote for this stuff. Like, if people particularly were given the choice, at least prior to the social revolution of the 1960s, people would, like, not vote for secularism. People would not vote for a lot of these things. People, a lot of the people like the death penalty. People like hard on crime policies. People like having a dictator or a daddy figure or somebody like that to look out for them. The problem is, in a lot of cases, people would vote for that stuff. And the fact that they have to attack Democrats and Republicans because their, like, ideology is not compatible with liberalism. I don't get, like, how they're expecting to bring about their liberal world order without standing on a pile of corpses. Anyways, liberals know that free markets are profoundly good for humanity. What does free market mean? I don't know, like, what does free market mean? Like, what does capitalist mean? Like, free market can mean anything from like something you would have in Germany or Sweden, to Ancapistan. I mean, I guess it just means any. I mean, if you want to talk about a market economy, it just means like where the rules of supply and demand indicate most things. So it's, I guess what they're saying is that markets should be as less regulated, as little regulated as possible, which would actually be a coherent thing. But we're just going to say liberals recognize the best way to solve the housing crisis is to build more homes. Now, they support unlimited open border immigration, so they don't support solving the housing crisis. Liberals believe that democracy demands free and equal access to the ballot that includes for illegal immigrants. Prosperity, okay, nuclear power is our best bet to fight climate change. Believe that liberal democracy is worth defending both at home and abroad. Okay, so once again, you can only defend this by force unless they actually believe that they should get everybody, that they will be able to convince every single person that they want their policies. Then they can't. Like, in a lot of cases, people would vote like porn, for instance. I'm sure in a lot of cases, if you put it up to a referendum, people would vote to ban porn. They would like vote for it. They'd vote for that. They'd vote for the death penalty. I mean, they voted for traditional marriage in any number of states in any number of countries, but it was overthrown by various Supreme Courts. Okay. Pro science and such pro humanity. Yes, I am a liberal. Okay, let's see. There's somebody shitting on them. Okay, so let's go through this. Okay, so let's start going through these memes. These epic culture jam. Do any of you remember culture jam? It was like some cringy shit they said back in the mid aughts, and I think like before that was in like the pre-Obama era, which is feels like a lifetime ago. Pander to NIMBYs, reduce housing costs, local politician. Did you get it, guys? The reason that, look, God, I'm trying to be like, I'm trying to, I don't know, come up with something. I'm trying, okay. So it's okay. So NIMBYs, for those of you who aren't aware, I'm going to explain this meme, are not in my backyard people. So these are the people who support things but won't allow it to be built near them. So they want more housing, but they want their massive backyard. They don't want high density housing built near them. They don't want nuclear plants built near them, all that kind of stuff. And that leads to urban sprawl, and that leads to a lot of problems, reduced local housing costs, and the local politician can't choose which one. So, I mean, I guess of all the memes, this one actually at least makes some kind of sense. Red pill, blue pill, okay, let's see here. It's been unmet expectations. It's been the unmet expectations of countless Americans fueled by the lazy and often, okay, so this is just, I don't even know who Michael Steele is. Former RNC chairman. Okay, I don't know who that dude is. RFK often says, when I was a kid, there were only 3 vaccines recommended by the CDC, and I turned out just fine. What he doesn't tell you is that when he was a kid, millions more children were dying of vaccines preventable illnesses today. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Global number, because, okay, so but I'm just trying to like okay, so let's take a step. Let's take a step back. So this is global cause of death, right? This isn't America. So I am, and I know this is a very like unpopular opinion in these circles. I'm pro-vaccine in general. I'm not necessarily pro-COVID vaccine, but I'm pro-vaccine in general. But RFK is talking about America. So are we supposed to believe that all of these deaths, well, it says global number of children deaths per year. Like, are we supposed to believe that it's decreased by this much in America? I don't know. You guys get what I'm trying to say, right? Um, like it's a dishonest comparison. Also, I don't really get why the COVID vaccine is the same as like other vaccines that were developed over a long period of time with traditional tested ability, um, like to build, um, and like a rushed RNA thing. I don't know. Peer review and valid. Okay, so we have Bill Crystal. I mean, we have like the granddaddy of neocon. By the way, we're just going to take a slight side trip because he did he posted some cringe too. Uh, I'm going to say this: like, what is it with Americans in regime change? Are Americans just obsessed with regime change? Like, is it a drug or something like that? I because he's calling for regime change in the UK. How do I Elon, you got to make this a bit easier. Fuck. It's gotten better than it used to be, but I still find it too hard to search people's timelines. Uh, is there a way to search for okay, I think I have it on my timeline, but fuck me, why is it so hard? Let's see here. Okay, here we go. This is Bill Crystal. This is his regime change. I did a thing on this. Regime change is a hell of a drug because Chuck Schumer has called for regime change in Israel. So there we go. Straightforward from here. So this is what Bill Crystal wants. Kate Services files for divorce, denounces the royal family. Forms new political party committed to a Republican Britain. The crown is over. Anti-monarchy Laborites and normal Tories join. Prime Minister Kate Middleton, goodbye monarchy. So that is the regime change. Oh yeah, then we have this. This was the other call for regime change. Like I think we had this in the Hungarian one. So this is like in the first three episodes or whatever. But when fascism comes to America, if you vote Democrat as a Christian, I think you can no longer call yourself a Christian. You have to call yourself something else. I do not think you could be a Christian and vote Democrat. I don't really get like why is that a controversial statement? You don't because Democrats pretty much universally, I think, support killing babies. So I don't really get how those two things are compatible. Um, Whatever. So now they're defending Hunter Biden. Uh, what? If you feel bad that Trump has lost 550 million over the last few months, don't. It was his choice to hire this woman as his lawyer instead of picking someone competent. So he's saying that maybe this is kind of based. Um, this is like so he's just saying because Trump hired a woman as his lawyer. Okay. The expansion of slavery. Natural rights belong to every human being on the planet. Why people hate Russia. Countries that were invaded by Russia slash USSR. I like how it's Russia slash USSR. It's this like boomer idea that that Russia is still the Union of Soviet Socialist republics. Also, what is this like? So they're saying because Trump hired a lawyer that they don't like, he deserved to have like $500 million taken away from him. I thought liberals were supposed to believe in equal access to justice. I mean, that seems very petty to me. So people hate Russia. Countries that were invaded by Russia slash the USSR. Um, Germany was in. When did that happen? Did the Russians? Oh yeah, there was the East German uprising. Okay, so he just thinks they're the same. They're the same thing. I like how there's um, one here that was there isn't one for Germany. There isn't one for France. There isn't one for Britain. I mean, if you wanted to go with France, all of this would be. If you wanted to go with Germany, all of this would be. If you wanted to go with Spain or Austria or Turkey, all of this would be. Um, so we have all these countries from the Soviet era that were invaded. Um, but it's this idea. I remember Spain's down here. So okay. Am I ignoring Russian fascism and genocide? No, everyone else is wrong. That's the meme. That's like um is that like, but I like, how is that even a meme? Okay. Money buys more under free trade. Men should vote liberal. Is that a joke? Is that a meme? Like I don't really, okay, I guess it's, is that Clement Attlee? I don't know who that is. Is that David Lloyd George? I'm not sure who these people are. I think that's like the Liberal Party in Britain, maybe. Um, Corporations aren't what causing housing prices. Costs are rising. NIMBYism is. Housing supply and prices. It's NIMBYism. It's not immigration. It's not zoning law. Well, I guess they mentioned zoning laws. It's not immigration. I remember the Justo regime said that if we increase immigration, that will solve housing prices. Um, so so they're just attacking RFK. You can't trust science and oppose nuclear power. Ha ha! There we go. The upstart Project Liberal looks to defeat the. Who the fuck is this? Society. I'm can I get a physiognomy check? Executive Director for Society Rule of Law. I don't know. How to fold the Confederate battle flag. I thought you guys were like pro free speech. Um, I thought that I thought they liked free speech. I thought they liked free expression. Now they're saying we need to burn the flags of people we don't like. For some reason, it's just this is once again. I do they think that this is clever? Good times create weak men. You get it, guys? They're culture jamming. They're taking like an alt right. They're taking an alt right meme, and they're saying that these guys are weak men. Um, is there any context? Is there any explanation? No. They're just gonna say that these guys are weak men. That guy, that makes sense to me, I guess. Join the Project Liberal movement. Immigration restrictions always hurt American farmers. Two Central Valley farmers, we explain how and why. I'm sure that's 100% real. Um, if you don't, okay, so there's that. The essence of liberalism in one photo. Welcome all races, religions, countries of origin, sexual orientations, gender. We stand with you. You are safe here. Restrooms are for countries only, customers only. See, because they support capitalism. But they don't support freedom of association. Like, they very clearly don't. I don't. Can you be against borders and support freedom of association? I don't know. Okay. Illegal immigrants are about 26% less likely to be convicted of homicide than native born Americans in Texas. Punish actual criminals and stop blaming illegal immigration. My op ed in the New York Times. Why are they attacking American Amerindians? Like, haven't they suffered enough? They're talking about Native Americans in Texas. Once again, whenever they bring this up, it's like, which Texans are we talking? Are we talking about Billy Bob, or I'm gonna have to like see receipts on this. I really doubt that. Christian nationalist biblical teaching. Once again, there's no explanation here. There's no context. Is it even explained? Helping invaders to replace voters because your politics stinks. So yeah, there's no. They just did it. I'm a liberal in the original sense. Okay. Society in every state is a blessing, but government in every, even in its best state, is but a necessary evil. In its worst state, an intolerable one. Okay. I I guess. No, you don't understand. Cuba's crisis is due to the U.S. embargo, not the communist dictatorship. How do you expect their communist nation to succeed without access to capitalist nations like the U.S.? So, like, A, that's too long. B, I mean, it's not that it's even untrue, but it's just a very simplistic way of looking at the world, I guess. Maybe they're like Cuba is shitty, don't get me wrong, but I'm sure it's shittier than it would be otherwise because of the U.S. embargo. But life imitates art. Okay, here we go. We got some more. In 1970, a round trip flight between New York and London cost around $5,300 in today's money. Today, that same flight economy costs around 400. That is complete bullshit. There's no fucking way that that's true. Also, round trip flight to where? From where to where? Like, is he talking about New York to? Let me look this up. New York to London flight. Okay. Let's say June. Okay, let's just pick a day. So it's not $400. I get that this is Canadian money, but it says like it's $800, and it's going to be more than that. It's going to be like $1,200 to $1,300. It's not like where did he get that? Has anyone here ever gone on an overseas flight for $400? Like, could somebody? Maybe I just booking with the wrong airlines. Like Toronto to London for me was about like $1,200. I don't know. And when Russia tries regime change to regime change us, it's not an act of war. So That's regime change. That was Russian regime change. Once again, I thought you guys supported freedom of speech and freedom of expression. Now we're saying that. Now we're saying that. What is it again? That January 6th, aka Holocaust times a million, was caused by Russia. So Russia, the U.S. has tried to regime change Russia a number of different times. And well, I mean, look, we just looked at like three different examples in the last couple of days. So the claim is that Russia was directly responsible for January 6th. Is there any evidence of this? Also disinformation. Um he's president. Oh, these guys are still going on about Russiagate. Um yeah, so that's the cope, is that Russiagate is true. Um that Russiagate was true, and that January 6th was directly orchestrated by Russia. Okay. Where are people buying groceries? Okay, let's look at this as vaguely close to reality. No fucking way they get it. Let me look at this. Let me see, at least in Canada, how much this stuff is. Let's see, Superstore. I don't know. I think they make this stuff up. Although Canada has certain restrictions on things that make it more expensive. Also, $3.60 for a loaf of bread that's a lot of money. That's pretty expensive. Let's see here. Let's see. How much is a dozen eggs? In Canada, a dozen eggs is $4. So about twice as much. Milk is way more than that here. Milk in Canada is about just under double that, but whatever. I don't know. Do people elsewhere like this order is $18 at my local Walmart, not 50. What is the point that he's trying to prove? Like, okay. Let's see here. I mean, you can still get all this for $50. Like, what is he talking about? This is all like really, really cheap shit. That like if you get on sale, a lot of this stuff is still like $2 or $3. If I went to Shoppers Drug Mart, um, and I could probably get this for $50. I just have to buy it if it was on sale. Like a lot of these things are only a dollar or two if you get them on sale. Um, to be honest, yeah, at a dollar store. Like I don't even get it. Okay, so the increase. Okay, so now they're saying that like groceries haven't is the argument here that like groceries haven't increased, because I've been seeing this a lot. Reagan Republicans been saying this, that the economy's great, that there's no like inflation, there's stuff like that. Like, who is that meant to appeal to? Like, how are you supposed to, like, so the idea, I guess, is to just tell people that they're lazy and greedy, and that's why they think food's more expensive? Like, is that the logic? Is that the deck that we're playing with here? Um, oh no, milk is way more than that in Canada. Like, milk is, Like $6 or $5.50 to $6. Let me see here. I always have to convert this. It's hard for me to think. Yeah, milk's. If I got it at like a cheap store, it would be about that much. If I got it at a non-discount grocery store, it would probably be about $5 for milk. Bread, okay. Eggs, okay. That $18 doesn't include I want to go viral by making a bullshit tax. Over 5 million views on Facebook for that post. Uh, Horizon Organic reduced fat milk. What? Okay, I can't even fucking. I'm sorry, guys. I can't even look at that. Dear Patriot, let's see here. Okay, some dude about Christian nationalism. Uh, oh, here we go. Um, okay, let's see here. Also, it's hard because milk comes in so many different. So, like, I buy milk in 4 liter jugs. So, a 4 liter jug of milk, where I live in Canada, is like $4. I think. I don't know what that is in gallons. Um, let's see here. 20% of Republican voters in Florida did not want Trump. MAGA is over in November. So I think because Trump only got 78% of the vote in Florida, that means that there's no way he can win the federal election. Now, once again, Nikki Haley dropped out, but early voting is a thing. Um, I don't get it. So Trump can't win the election because of that. Also, what was the Hawaii? Let's see here. Yeah, okay, so Biden got 66% in the Hawaiian Democratic Caucus. Does that mean like that it's over for him? Like I think getting like that low when you okay, so Biden got okay, so they're complaining that Trump got what is it? 78% in a contested primary. Biden got one second. What did he get in Vermont? Like Biden's getting below 90%. What did Biden get in Florida? Let me see here. Has Florida happened yet? Oh, Florida, they just canceled Florida. They just didn't even care. They just told them to fuck off. Okay. Charged with touching a table. The whole who gives a fuck, like, to be honest, about the capital thing. His country's at war because he started a war. Many want him dead because he started the war. How is he not afraid of being killed? He is. But he still freely goes on stage in front of thousands of people in the square. How is Putin not afraid of being killed? Okay. Once again, and I asked this question for like the billionth time. Um Who do you think is more popular? Putin in Russia or Darkside Brandon in the US? When asked, okay, if they decide to kill me, it means we are incredibly strong. I mean, it's been disproven that they killed him. Like, Budanov, the chief of intelligence of Ukraine, who's like a known state terrorist against Russia, said he died of a blood clot. Like, that's not true. Okay, they thought this meme was so good they reposted it. Whether it's a conservative wearing a Confederate flag or a socialist wearing a Che Guevara shirt, they are signaling the same thing: support for governments that wanted to enslave people. I'm gonna need some receipts on that. How was the Confederacy? How would the Confederacy have enslaved people? They wanted to permit private citizens to enslave people. I thought you guys would like that because it's capitalism. So it was like, is there logic that the Confederacy was going to directly, like, they were going to have a state-run economy where, like, the plantations were owned by the Confederate Congress? I guess that it's support for governments that wanted to, support for governments that supported enslaving people. Maybe. Okay, so here's the big one. This is what prompted me to do this. So they have ruled that the Second Amendment applies to illegal immigrants. Illegal immigrants have an unlimited right to carry weapons. Um, yeah, they have they ruled on that. So Project Liberal has been basically creaming their pants about this because they think it's amazing that illegal immigrants can carry guns now. So that's the current that's the current like thing, is that the second, okay, this, I had actually reshared this. Okay, so let's take a look at this. The Second Amendment shall not be infringed. Undocumented illegal immigrants have rights to own guns. Judge rules no, not like that. So like they think that this was clever, I guess. Like they're calling MAGA out. They're saying, you guys support the Second Amendment. Well, why don't you support the Second Amendment for non-citizens? It's like, yeah, but they support the Second Amendment for American citizens. Their belief is that the Constitution applies to American citizens. But like they're portraying that this is some sort of like gotcha. Like this is some massive like gotcha thing. Uh oh, here we go. I'm going to have to see receipts that classical liberals were historically against citizenship. Uh cool, no background checks at all, no age restrictions. Um I didn't realize the Constitution of the United States applied to individuals who are not citizens. It does. This was a Supreme Court case back in 1980s. However, instead of just applying the 14th Amendment, it goes for all of the amendment. It does. Like it's cool. Illegal immigrants can have guns. Um, okay, let's see here. I'm shocked the guy who thought Dean Phillips would win Michigan finds Elon Musk propaganda video credible. Let's see here. It is illegal for non-citizens to vote in federal elections, and they don't because you need a license or. No, but. You don't though, because don't they? Aren't they against ballot ID? All mail-in ballots are verified in every state. That's not true. Okay, I don't even want to look at this. Uh, it's okay. Let's see here. Project Liberal, the Lincoln bracket. Nazis are so pathetic they have to make LARP edits of them losing. Let's see here. We have Harriet Tubman. Okay, here we go. They love this meme. They use this meme a lot. What are their wages now? What are their wages now? So this is shitting on people who okay, let's see. What is this in reference to? Okay, we're leaving Minneapolis. Despite our efforts and your support, the Minneapolis City Council passed an ordinance that would make rides on the Lyft platform unaffordable for the majority. Okay. Would be unsustainable. I I could just it could just be that I suffer from severe sleep deprivation, and I just started my CPAP treatment last night. I didn't sleep very much, but I don't. This just seems very very like obtuse and arcane and enigmatic. I don't really get it, to be honest. Communist humor is like food. Not everyone gets it. Okay, it's you're funny, guys. You're funny. Okay, just some random dude they're quoting. Okay. Universal mail-in voting now, automatic voter registration now, independent redistricting committees now, ranked choice voting now. But you guys are against it because once again, and I'm making this like, I'm sorry if I'm kind of incoherent today. I probably should have done this when I was a bit more rested, but you have to force all of these things on people. A lot of these things people don't want. Um, like a lot of the time, like we've had votes in Canada on ranked choice voting, and to my knowledge, it gets voted down every time. Nobody wants it. It's something that has to be forced. I don't even know if proportional representation is something people want. They had a referendum on that in Ontario and it failed. Uh, they didn't want it. So I guess we have to force these things on people to save democracy. Um, okay. Okay, here's another meme. Most of my grandma's family starved to death in 1933. Stalin was a murderer. No. Who? Who is that? Like I don't once again, like I don't get it. Like is the joke that there's like communists who think that like the Soviet Union was good, but what? No, like that's what I mean. Like I feel like I'm stupid for not getting this. So they're saying because there are people who say communism wasn't bad. What? Some of them aren't bad. This one is bad. This one is terrible. What good things did Hitler do? What good things? Like, okay, why? I don't get it. It's okay. I'm gonna say that this person I'm gonna ask a question, not give anyone a chance to respond, and then pretend that that means that they're retarded. Is that what they mean? I I don't get it. As I've said, like you can think what you will about Hitler, you have to admit his first couple years in office, like his diplomacy was amazing. He got Rhineland back. He annexed Austria. He annexed Czechia. He got all these concessions. He got rid of the Treaty of Versailles. Like he had a lot of success. I mean, he went too far in the end, but I don't really see how you could look at pre 1939 and not say Hitler didn't have a lot of success with his foreign policy. Let's see here. They're posting the same meme another time. I think they posted this already. World's population living in extreme poverty. True liberalism has never been tried. Yes, it has. It did this. I don't get it. Is he like saying that because of neoliberalism extreme poverty went down? Is that what his point is? Also, I think this might be a joke. Okay. Like I I just don't get like a lot like what the point is they're even trying to remember. Hard to say. Annual rate of homicides. Biden reversed the Trump crime wave because nothing happened in 2020, 2019, 2020, and 2021 that might have affected the crime rate. Sorry, guys, I really shouldn't have done this when I'm this tired. I sound kind of retarded today. But like, do they forget that COVID happened? Could someone explain that to me? Like, are they just pretend like it's? I don't think you can count really anything that happened, and I say this for left and right wing people as well. Like, I think COVID, like, insane shit happened, and a lot of stuff that wouldn't normally be the case was the case. So I don't know how fair it is to list COVID time for basically anything. Okay, so here's another one. I always think of this when MAGA folks complain about homelessness in liberal cities. What do they think they should do? Hike taxes and give away free housing. That's the only way to deal with it. But that's what. Oh, it hurts. Okay, let's try to unpack this. So this is something I find very often with like a lot of room temperature IQ people is they don't understand the concept of judging someone by their own standards. And I get shit on a lot for this because people don't get it when I say things. Like when I talk about how the West is inconsistent with democracy, something they do is inconsistent with democracy, how they support Ukraine turning into a police state and stuff like that. And then they'll go, well, you think it's an appropriate response. I'm like, but I'm not talking about what I think. I'm talking about what liberals say. So liberals say that we want to end homelessness. And the way they generally deal with things is by raising taxes and building public housing. The conservatives are saying you aren't actually doing what you said you're doing. Instead, you just spend it on random shit. So you guys suck. Like, what? Why are we sending money to Ukraine? We should be helping the homeless. Get a job, freeloader. Because that's what every American conservative thinks. Why are we sending money to Ukraine? Once again, it's based on a straw man. It's every conservative's like that. Also, I thought these guys were pro free market. So aren't the conservatives saying that we shouldn't be sending the money to Ukraine? We should be giving it back to the American people as a tax rebate? and they're against that. So they're saying that they're against not giving money to a foreign country and instead giving it as tax cuts to the American people, I guess. Okay. Housing costs going down is a bad thing. Well, it is. I mean, to these people, it is. Name an attractive Israeli person. Okay, we're going to shill for Israel. The biggest Nazi collaborator of them all. I mean, it's technically true. Um, he dreams of being a dictator. Are you better off than you were 4 years ago? Pretty obviously, yes. Yep. It's exactly it's what happened. Um, I mean, it's kind of a dumb thing for Trump to say because 4 years ago was just coming out of COVID and everything was a total shit show. Um, I don't know. Russia had the right to invade Ukraine. How am I just finding out about this? Okay. Liberals understand the Constitution must be defended by. Okay, they're just reusing the same thing, the same thing. We have Christopher Hitchens, one of the cargo cult gods of liberalism. We have, I don't even know who that is. Seems to mean faith in the people, confidence that they will manage their own affairs far better than those affairs are likely to be managed for them by us. But like the entire point is against that. I hate life under capitalism. I'm going to become a subsistence farmer. Okay, then this was always allowed. Okay, I do think it is retarded when people do that. Like, don't get me wrong. There's a lot of people here who like want to go LARP in the woods, and I do get how those people are cringy, but it's not like whenever people try to make the ethno state, whatever, like white people try to make their own communities, if they're Christian or whatever, the federal government literally just comes in and shoots them. Like, no, you aren't allowed to go do that. You aren't allowed to form your own community. You're not allowed to do any of this stuff. You just have to, like, that's just not true. Okay, here we go. This is another one that made me want to do this one. Freedom isn't just about what you do. Freedom is also about who you do it with. But you guys are against freedom of association. Who supports Russia? Who has been to Russia? Who wants to move there? This is another one of just these extremely, like, when they typed this out, did they like, this is such childish stage one thinking. So, if you support a country, that means you have to move to it. Is that what they're saying here? So, okay, so if you support Israel, then you have to move to Israel, I guess is what they're saying. I mean, like, I like Japan. I guess they're saying I should move to Japan. I should move to, where are some other countries? Yeah, move to Argentina. Move to. I'm just trying to think of some countries I actually like. Yeah, move to Japan. I guess Russia, Poland, even like the UK. Like I don't get it. It's I don't understand how one and two makes three. Actually, it's funny because somebody actually made that meme. Here we go. Who wants to fight there? Like, I'm just trying to think of some other examples. Okay, here's an example. I support Armenia. I support Armenia and the Armenia-Azerbaijan conflict. I fully support Armenia. I haven't been to Armenia. I don't want to move to Armenia, but I support the Armenian people. And it's like you know what? I think because they just view the world as this like globalized thing, they don't understand stuff like people sometimes will say, "Why don't you move to Russia if you like Russia so much?" Because I'm not Russian. I'm not Russian Orthodox. I'm not ethnically Russian. I don't speak Russian. Why am I going to move to like a completely different country that's utterly foreign to me and that I have no historical ties to? Like, I don't get why saying you like a certain country for some things means that you necessarily want to move there. Um, there is no single economic policy that is more powerful than immigration reform. In the absence of immigration, we're Japan. We get older, we get smaller, we get less potent on the world stage. Okay, let's look at this. Okay, let's look at homicide rates. Let's see where is Japan? Where's Japan? Okay, Japan has the. Okay, let me see. Where is Japan on this list? The Japan has by far the lowest homicide rate of like a real country. Japan has an almost non-existent. 285 people are killed a year in Japan. Um, so we don't want to be like Japan. We don't want to be a country that is extremely clean, that has let's look here, life expectancy. I can't remember if Japan is the highest. The actual country with the highest life expectancy, the lowest murder rate. We don't want to be like that. That is their like their argument that we shouldn't want to be like Japan. Now there's a lot of things to criticize about Japan. Its work culture is really shitty. Its debt is out of control. There's all kinds of like other stuff. There's a lot of things to criticize about Japan, but I don't get how that's like an example for why we need illegal immigration. Money buys more under free trade. Women should vote liberal. Okay. Liberalism is the first and last defense against tyranny. Okay. Pro nuclear liberals, pro self defense, pro fiscal responsibility. We have to get inflation under control. What can we do? Stimulus check, price controls. Why don't we stop printing money? I mean, is that like. I guess that's controversial to Democrats. I don't know if I like. Mainstream Republicans, I don't think that. Um, Communism wasn't able to build this. The author is assuming China is purely communist. Okay, so so that is a retarded thing to say. That like that capitalism wasn't even able to build the city, but it's just so they don't have steak and French fries in communist countries. I don't I don't get it. Um, okay, let's see here. Okay, so look, it's the same meme again. How many times do they just use the same meme? Christian nationalism, Sharia law. They're the same. They are this. They are the same. They're exactly the same. Um, both of them allow polygamy. Both support polygamy. Both of them ban all alcohol consumption. Both of them enforce the Sunnah. Both of them have Muhammad as their prophet. both of them, like, but they aren't similar at all. Like, some very, very superficial aspects of this. Um, Also, Christian countries don't have female genital mutilation. Like, I don't even, like, it doesn't make sense. Christian nationalism is just Sharia law for evangelicals. Changed my mind. What about polygamy? I mean, there's polygamy, there's female genital mutilation. Also, I didn't think Christians were pro-divorce. Sharia law, like, has some of the most liberal divorce laws of any country on earth. Um, okay. In a capitalist society, there will be too many millionaires. Okay, but that's awesome. You do see how that's awesome, right? Like, is this a joke once again? Like, could some of this, like, because I feel retarded, and not just because I'm tired and I shouldn't be doing this when I have like 4 hours of sleep, but is this like a joke? Is this supposed to be clever? It just feels very much like some high schooler, like, not even high school, some grade school kid who like points something out and thinks he's really like smart because he's being snarky. He's just like, okay, but that's awesome, man. It's just, ugh. Okay, the bloodbath thing is a lie. That was a lie, 100%. Elon Musk even explained why this was a lie. Okay, let's go look at what Elon, because Elon actually explained why this is a lie. So we're gonna take a look at the at what Elon said, because well, actually, it was Babylon B who explained it, but Elon reposted it. So we're gonna take a look at this. Um, where is it? Okay. So, what Trump said, let's see, what does Trump say? Trump said, there will be a bloodbath in the American car industry if China, which is building factories in Mexico, is allowed to push its cheap vehicles into the U.S. market. Um, so,
Drawing. You know, Mexico has taken over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it. Went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. No, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole, that's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive.
So, yeah, he was talking about the car. He was talking specific. I guess it was a little worse than I thought it was. He said it's going to be a bloodbath for the car industry, but he was also just talking more in general that Biden will not put tariffs on cheap Chinese products, and it will destroy that. Now, if you go through, yeah, like, so the bee went through and found examples of all these people who, son of a bitch, it's Joe Walsh. It's Joe Walsh, that asshole from Project Liberal who looks like Jeffrey Epstein. And they all use the term before, because people frequently will use the term. So, okay. Let's see what else here. And absolutely no one was surprised with 87% of the vote. Like, once again, by the Western, maybe I could do a video on that, but my understanding is Western polls um, have Putin with that percentage of the vote. Like, that is not inconsistent with Western polling. Okay, so Alexis de Tocqueville. Do you think Alexis de Tocqueville would support anything these fuckers support? Like, I seriously doubt it. Immigration is a human right. Like, okay, so let's just think about this for a minute. Let's just think about this. Let's go back to Putin's popularity. If you look at any single metric, Russia is infinitely better now than it was when Putin took power in 1999. The economy is way better. The crime rate is down. The alcoholism rate, I think, is down. Abortion's down. More people have houses. They've done a lot of overall with the housing. They just got. They just got mass sanctioned by basically the entire world. But their economy is like doing really good now. Wages are up, living standards are going up. They've been able to just basically replace everything with domestic production. It looks like they're winning the war in Ukraine. You know what doesn't help get rid of Putin is when you try to intervene in Russian elections. So I do think yeah, Russian economy is bigger than Germany's now. Germany's going through a economic crisis at the moment, partially because so like the new meme that we're getting in Europe is that Europe is in a depression because Russia cut off the fuel supplies to Europe. Is like the explanation is that Russia one day just decided to cut them off. I thought they were the ones that banned Russian oil from being imported. Immigration is a human right. Um, okay. Needs fewer laws, not more prisons. That's how it works. We don't have laws, and yeah. Freedom doesn't wait to end the welfare state. Okay. Here's another one. I'm your granddaughter, really? Slava Ukraine. I admit I don't get it. I don't. Can someone explain this to me? Like, people like Putin so much they'd go back in time to talk to him if he was a baby? Me. Sunday night, Sunday dinner with family in the suburbs. Actually, they should be allowed to build a 12-story building next door. Like, a lot of this is just taking talking points and just pasting them into memes. Like, the meme is that I say that they should be able to build a building next door, and it's like the equivalent of bowling. Yep, Russian misinformation. I thought you guys supported freedom of speech. We're gonna talk about Russiagate. Oh, here we go. Fascism. No leftist can kill me. I am no leftist. Liberals. Putin said Putin lies. Okay. The salt over Putin is amazing. Communism is pretty great. The USSR just did it wrong. No, you fucking like are do a lot of is that like the thing that like Zoomers are talking about again? They're talking about the USSR. They want to bring the Soviet Union back. A prude is a person who thinks his own rules are proprietary, a propriety or natural laws. Dude, you really want to go down the Robert Heinlein level? Like, is that really something you want, a place you want to go? Oh, we have Francis Fukuyama. We're gonna bring in Francis Fukuyama as like one of the saviors for this. We are on a mission. Thank you for 12,000 followers. Hate speech is free speech, and condemning hate speech is free. That's not how it works, though. Refugees. Here we go. Refugees have the same rights that Americans do. The whole world is actually America. Um, the only thing that differentiates nations are those that have gay marriage versus not. Project Liberal makes sure that trans and kids is a protected right because they are true Americans. Where do rights come from? There is no not America. Everyone will be degenerate. So that's the new hot take. Um, it's the new hot take. Kremlin propaganda, MAGA. Like, these just feel like the lowest effort political. Like, is this supposed to be clever? Like, the thing is, there's no subtlety, there's no irony, there's no, like, cleverness. It's just like, oh, MAGA people are Kremlin shills. We're just going to have somebody walk a guy with a dog. Like, it's. I don't really get how it's even a meme. Basic economics, communists. Like, I get it. It's just not clever. The USSR murdered my family. China put my whole family in concentration camps. Nice try, CIA. So that's Antifa. Does Antifa even like the Soviet Union? Post liberals are cringe. I guess that's kind of funny. Uh, the war in Ukraine is existential. If Russia were to win, life for the French would change. We would have no security in Europe. Who can seriously believe that Putin, who has respected no limits, would stop there? Like, so we're pro-war, of course. Um, we're pro-war for some reason. That's part of liberalism, I guess. Liberalism versus illiberalism is authoritarian versus free. It's not, though. Liberal countries are more restrictive. Let's see. Oh, that like actually hurts me to look at that. Look at that wall of text. I actually am against banning TikTok. I do actually agree with that. One of the surest ways to lose your own liberty is to deny liberty to others. It's true. If you if you lock criminals up in jail, that hurts your liberty. So, and this is the problem with like with Bukele, because Bukele was like, you know what? I'm gonna lock up all the criminals, so then people will have the liberty to like walk outside. And then it's like, no, but by arresting all the people that made El Salvador a living hell, that means he's taking away their liberty. Um, if you think misinformation is not an issue at all, then I think you're not panic enough. If you think it's going to be into the world, then I think you're a little too panic. What does that mean? The default state of humanity is poverty and war. The default state of humanity under liberalism is peace and prosperity. But they were literally just calling for war. Like, weren't they? Like a couple memes up? We need to like go to war with Russia? They've talked about going to war with people a bunch of times in this. Okay, we got tankies. Oh, we're gonna bring in Stephen Fry. We're gonna bring in Stephen Fry to defend us. That's the man. The people cooperation of all men. Republicans when a black man is murdered by police. Republicans when Trump is arrested. Like, I don't. So, like, did they not understand that there's different types of. Do they just think all crime is the same? Like, is this the logic that we're going down? That A, that's not the case with all Republicans, but I think, like, what? So I'm just trying to think of how to even explain this. So somebody who attacks a police officer and shoots at them, getting shot by the police, is the same thing as bullshit political charges that don't make any sense, that are made up to try to get a political opponent thrown in jail. Like, those aren't even close to the same thing. Like, if you wanted to do a funny one, do Democrats when Trump is indicted, Democrats when Hunter Biden is indicted, or something like that. I mean, it's not ironic. It's not hypocrisy. They don't, like, Republicans are generally anti-crime. They don't care when violent criminals get killed. Like, if the police actually just went nuts and killed somebody, yeah, but if you look at most of these cases, like, they are attacking the police or they're attacking somebody else. So, like, to these people, because they both involve, like, charges for a crime, I guess they assume that all crimes are the same and all charges are the same. They're all okay. I don't know. One of the laziest critiques of vaccines is the idea that they are pushed because of the profit motive of the medical industry. Every dollar spent on vaccines costs the medical industry $16 of future earnings. I don't even know if that's true. So, if Pfizer and Moderna and all these other people had not made a COVID vaccine, they would have made 16 times as much money. I mean, is that what he's saying? Speak English. I didn't come to America to give up my freedom of speech. Take that, MAGA. MAGA was completely blown out there. Because having, like, a national language is inherently means you're against free speech. So the idea that the US should have a national language and that official documents should be in the official language means that you're against free speech. I guess what they're saying. Like, what's it? It's such just childish, like, tier one, such a simplistic way of looking at the world. I wish I lived in the most free and prosperous time in human history. It is done. Nothing's changed. Correct. It's so snarky. It's just so snarky and G-slur and yeah. At the core of liberalism lies the belief that individuals have the ultimate right to determine how they should live their lives. No, like, that's not what you believe in. It's clearly not. Okay, we have another meme that's being repeated. We have that again. What's this? Things said about Irish immigrants in 1800s America. Ha ha! They got them. Did America have as high an immigration rate as they did now back then? Also, weren't the Irish legal immigrants? Okay, so let's not even talk about the whole immigration versus non anti-immigration thing. Were the Irish immigrants to America illegal immigrants who crossed the border illegally and then paid shady human traffickers to bring them into the country and to give them fake social security numbers? I'm going to have to see some receipts on that one, guys. So, okay, so I guess the Irish were illegal immigrants. Um, no, but isn't that what it's implying? Okay, here we go. Spot the difference: anti-science, anti-women's rights, anti-abortion, anti-separation of church and state, pro-theocracy. Spot the difference. They're the same. They're the same. Republicans want to bury gays up to their neck and then drop a wall on them. Uh, what does anti-science mean? Like how are they anti-science? I'm gonna need an explanation on that one. Are we talking about young Earth creationism? I don't know what they're even talking about. Anti-women's rights. I like how being anti-infanticide is like evil. Like that is what that is what they're going with is they support the life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness and personal autonomy and all that kind of stuff. And that means you have to support killing babies. Okay. So what would a Christian theocracy look like? Like let's be honest here. If we were going to have a Christian theocracy in the United States, how would that work? Which denomination of Christianity would lead the Christian theocracy? Like, I don't actually like. How would it work? Like the closest thing we've had to theocracies, like when the Catholic Church ran theocracies, they basically just functioned as normal, states, right? Like they just function as normal states, but with a bishop as their head. Political correctness is always concerned about with how right it is without thinking how effective it is. Okay. A Nazi collaborator and a Nazi. We have more Milton Friedman. Echo chambers are deeply unhealthy. If you must protect your opinions from exposure to outside views, they're not opinions worth holding. If you're so pressured by others to do so, either directly or as a result of a group culture of shutting out dissent, you're in a cult, get out. I thought people had the right to make their own decisions. I thought they had the right to do that. I thought they had the right to do that other stuff. Like, that's the thing I don't really get with, like, the whole Christian nationalism as theocracy. What would the theocracy be? Like, would non-denominational Christians put in would it be a Catholic theocracy? Would it be a Reformed theocracy, a Baptist theocracy, a Presbyterian theocracy, a Pentecostal theocracy? I don't really think they just want a Christian nation. Like, as I've said, if America's religion should be Christianity, no denomination specified. Also, this is so long. This is like not brief at all. It's long. Tankies, the world not being perfect. The long decline of world hunger. Top children's authors. Oh, not anymore. Karl Marx. Okay, that's another thing that they repeated. We must censor our political opponents for the Good of Society Act. Political opponents win elections, start censoring everyone. Like, that is what happened with the Patriot Act. Um, Also, how would a Christian theocracy work? Like, what is there? There isn't like a specifically Christian form of government. There's Christian principles to organize a society around. You could have a Christian society. I just don't really know what like a Christian theocracy would be like. Beware of false narratives. All immigrants. But a bunch of states that were red flipped. Like Arizona flipped because of illegal immigration. Colorado flipped. I'm not sure if that was why New Mexico flipped. A whole bunch of states that had a whole bunch of immigration led to those states flipping. Christian nationalism is anti-American. It just is. Um, Call me a woman, sure. This is the fall of Western civilization. What? Like, I don't get it. Is this supposed to be a joke? Is this supposed to be clever? Like, I'm not sure what they're going for here. I think I might just not be big brained enough to get it. So I guess they're saying that this guy's absurd because the Wojak with the MAGA hat is upset, but Chad is like okay with trannies. I guess. Yimbys are winning. 80s GOP, Gorbachev, tear down this wall. Modern GOP, Mexico was gonna pay for the wall, but it didn't work out. Sorry. So that's the same thing. It's exactly this. There's no context. There's no differentiation between them. Uh, okay. I don't get it. Approval voting equals ranked choice voting. Okay. Okay. This is a repeat. This is another meme that they've repeated. That's another meme I think they've repeated. That's another one they repeated. I'm completely in favor of building a wall as long as it's a wall between church and state. Okay. Homelessness is a policy choice because mental illness doesn't exist. Uh, let's see here. Well, I mean, there's a certain truth to that, but I mean, the issue is when Ukraine wanted to join the Eurasian Union, it got regime changed in a coup. Same thing happened in Armenia. Same thing happened in a bunch of different countries. Biden is bad based. Putin is bad. So I guess the like logic here is that people who don't like Biden have no reasons for it. Is that what the logic is here? That people who don't like Biden have no reason to provide? So I guess what they're saying is if you agree with something, you should give a long explanation for why you agree with it. Not if you disagree with something, you should explain why you disagree with it. Okay, we have the same meme over again. Uh, More Francis Fukuyama. We have Jeffrey Epstein. John Locke. Okay, let's. Oh, they're bringing John Locke. Okay, John Locke. Okay, so I want people to. We're gonna have a vote here. Press 1 if you think John Locke didn't believe in citizenship and thought there should be unlimited immigration from one country to another. Press 2 if you don't think John Locke supported that. And we'll see. We'll see where we go. Okay, here we go. The same meme yet again. Didn't John Locke oppose the immigration of non-Christians? Didn't he say atheists should not be allowed to hold public office and stuff like that? Okay, okay, so this one is actually a little bit funny. Okay, here we go. I'll give them credit. This one is kind of funny. See, that's actually okay, that's good. I hate how these lonely e-girls swindle lonely unsuccessful guys out of their money by offering them false hope in a fantasy. You got Andrew Tate. Okay, that's actually sort of funny. Because isn't a big part of classical liberalism about duties and responsibilities and stuff like that? I don't know. We have the same quote from Francis Fukuyama. Okay, here we go. What once was normal is now seen as extreme. What once was extreme is now seen as normal. This is such a childish way of looking at the world. Once again, they this gets back to what I like to talk about, the natural disaster view of history, where things just happen. They have no context, they just happen. There's just a wall. So they're the same there's no wall there, but there's a wall now, so they're different. There was a wall there and there was a wall there. So that means they're the same thing because the wall's involved. It's such a simplistic, low IQ way of looking at the world. Reject modernity, embrace tradition. So what they're saying is we should have more white immigrants? Based? I guess is what they're saying? Is they want America to go back to being a white country? Okay. We are going to invade Iraq to bring democracy. Fuck off, I don't believe in that made up nonsense. We're going to conduct a special military operation to annex and exterminate, I mean demilitarize and denazify Ukraine. I guess? But you guys are exactly the same about that. You guys supported Bush when they invaded Iraq, and now all the people who were pacifists are warmongers. But the problem with the Berlin Wall is it was dividing Germans from other Germans. It's a big one. The women are trim and attractive. Streets are clean. Yeah, because has anyone here been to an urban center in the U.S.? Actually, I think I've said this. One of the things that made me made me edgy was going to L.A. and just seeing how people lived in urban America. It was like a safari. Okay, same meme they're using over again. Uh, most arguments against the free market is the lack of belief in freedom itself. Yes. Okay, we haven't the same thing repeated again. You turned Eastern Europe against me. You have done that to yourself. That yourself. Yeah, but they did They did regime change in a bunch of these countries. Um, I, like once again, I've never criticized Poland for being anti-Russia and pro-NATO. I don't. I've said pretty clearly I understand why that's the case. At the same time, though, is inarguable that in a lot of Eastern European countries they carried out regime change in order to bring full yeah, so I went to LA. My dad was there for a conference, so he brought my mother and I along. And we stayed in downtown LA. Let me see, where was it we stayed? I'm trying to remember where it was. It was like right downtown. Uh, I think it was, yeah, it was LA Athletic Club. Okay, so let's see here. I'm pretty sure that's where we were. Yeah. So, yeah, when we were in LA, we stayed, I think it was there. Um, so, like, pretty close to the center. I don't know. That was a scary fucking area. Yeah, there's the fashion district. That was scary as shit. This whole area like made me exponentially more. We got all the parks; they're just full of homeless people. The stairs are just covered in them. I saw a burning trash can. Like it changed my views profoundly. It showed me where like trillions of dollars in social spending has gone, at least the United States. Okay, I guess. I guess maybe the like I don't know, but I feel like the people who would call them fascist would not would be like normie Republicans who would also call them fascist. How would you like this wrapped anti-terrorism protect kids? I like how they're just like, yeah. So are they saying that like CP is speech? I don't know. I think that's about all I can really take from this. So this is that was Project Liberal. These guys are cringe as fuck. We'll end it with this. Um, we'll end with this amazing meme right here. That is incredible. So God bless everybody. Thank you for joining me on this journey.